Welcome to Rauta's Fall Time AMA, that is, Ask Me Anything. I've gathered these questions around, I think, late summer, early fall for your convenience. Some people have been asking me various questions through various channels, that is, through Instagram, Discord, YouTube, obviously, Facebook, and all that stuff. So I decided it's time to make this video because your questions require demand answers. Only 7 questions this time, plus a giveaway, which I will reveal at the end. So let's start with the first one. I'll try to keep these relatively short, which is not my forte. First question was, I wonder how you have time to listen to albums you like the most, or just the ones that you review. Well, I would prefer to have the time to listen to my favorite albums, but as it has been quite a few years from now, I rarely have the time to listen to my favorite albums. Obviously, sometimes when I just drive my car, I put something on Spotify or take my favorite CDs with me and then just listen to them. Also, when I have something like yard work, gardening and stuff, I might just plug in my headphones and listen to my favorite. But usually most of my listening time, that is when I work at the office right here doing my day job, I am listening constantly to review albums and some digital promos, which I will try to figure out whether or not they're worth my time to ask for a physical copy. So most of the time goes with the review albums, but I'll try to find time for other ones as well. Second question is, how about you discuss on how you met brothers of Archgoat and how you guys became friends? That's not so interesting story, really. I mean, we're both from the same city, Turku, Finland, southwestern part of Finland, the oldest city, the ex-capital of Finland. And since we are both lived in that is, the brothers of Archgoat and me, we have all lived in the same city. Obviously, it was just a matter of time to, just end up meeting each other. And I think it was around early 2000s. Back then, Archgoat was inactive. They had ceased their first era of existence already quite a few years before I got to know those guys. And we were, I think, originally in the same bar, I think. We had mutual friends already back to time. So it was, like I said, more of a matter of time how we would meet. And back then, they were kind of like out of metal, really. And we had some talks like they used to play in black metal band. And, talks evolved. Then you just end up knowing the guys. I know one of these brothers I got to know better before. And later on, you got to know them more, a little bit better than just like those buddies that you say hi to, but, you don't really know them, kind of like acquaintances. But it's just kind of a typical story. You meet people at the bar, you have mutual friends, you end up talking about that stuff, and you find out that you have a mindset that is actually working, kind of like chemistry, if you will. So that's the story, really. And it didn't take too many years for those guys to actually reform Archgoat when I met those guys. So obviously we started meeting each other more and more because of the shows and whatever. So there you have it. Not that interesting story, I guess. 3. How did you get a postcard from Fenris? Now, I tried to actually find that postcard for you to show. It's somewhere in my new office space. Probably in some box, I guess. But I don't know. Because of the house moving, I had to pack everything and then repack. And still some boxes they're kind of a mess. So it's somewhere here, and I will post a picture, most likely on Instagram, but I try to remember to post that picture of the postcard on YouTube as well. But it's a kind of interesting story. Back in the early 2000s something, I had a female metal friend who lived in Oslo, about my age roughly, very nice woman, but I don't know what happened, because we had a correspondence going on, She knew a lot of Norwegian scene. She was not Norwegian original, if I remember correctly. But anyway, she had a kind of good network in Norway. She was really friendly person, and I ended actually meeting her when I was at Inferno Festival, I think 2004. And she was kind of like guiding us and showing the places, telling about people and whatever. And it was really nice to meet her. I mean, I'm kind of saddened by the fact that the correspondence kind of ended. I think it was my fault anyway. I probably forgot to write her a letter and it kind of all died. And back then, we didn't use that much of an email. I mean, obviously, email had been going on from like 90s, but with that person, we would actually write letters with pen and paper. And so I was asking her, because of my band Annihilus, back then I was asking if, because she knew Fenris, that is, I would ask if she could get me Storm of Evil lyrics by Isengard, which we were actually, playing a bit at a rehearsal room, and maybe just could it be possible to make a cover song of Storm of Evil. Now, Fenris did write to me, straight, a postcard from the Elm Street bar, I think, and because she gave him my address, and as a result, I got a postcard from Fenris writing half of the Storm of Evil lyrics. He couldn't, it seems, remember all of them, which I can understand. It was already quite a few years, and it seems he had destroyed those lyrics, or at least couldn't find them. But what he could, he wrote on a piece of postcard, and some nice regards and all that stuff. So I kept it kind of like, as you keep souvenirs, I wanted to keep that postcard as like a memory, so I stuck it in a box or whatever. But to be honest, I don't know if it's gone. I mean, it's not lost, but it's somewhere. But when I will find it, I will take a photo and show it to you. But it was nice to get the postcard from Fenris. I later on actually met Fenris at Inferno as he was playing, as a DJ there at the club where the bands would be playing. And back then I actually asked him about the interview, but he wasn't like so much keen to talk about metal. He was just like, I just want to listen to and play some records, man, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe things are different. If someday I get to interview him for Rauta, that would be blast. But that's the story, really. Question number 4. What is my favorite Finnish black metal band? Now, this is a really hard question because I think the quality of Finnish black metal bands is so high these days. There are lots of good bands, from Clandestine Blaze to Baptism to Behex and to Horna, etc. I think I'm kind of inclined to say Satanic Warmaster. I have always liked his combination of raw black metal with melodies, kind of a perfect balance in that sense. Not just raw, not just melodic. And good vocals, good riffs, memorable stuff, really. So let's just call it that for the time being. Question number 6. 5 is favorite band and album. This is also a tricky question because I tend to change my answer based on how I'm feeling and all that stuff, because there are a lot of near perfect albums. I wouldn't call any album perfect in a way, but usually my cheap answer is Slayer and Rain in Blood, because it's kind of a perfect album with 29 minutes and then some of thrash metal with great lyrics, great vocals, intense riffing, great songwriting. But obviously there are other albums that could basically take the number 1 spot. Death Symbolic would be one good possibility. Wasps, The Last Command, and so forth. But let's go with the Slayer. And question number 6 is, who is my favorite black metal vocalist? Now that is an easy one for me. It's Nocturno Culto from Darkthrone and, well, other bands as well. But especially with Darkthrone's 3 unholy albums plus Panzerfaust, I think he'd really nailed it, especially in Panzerfaust. I know there are lots of people who don't like those lyrics, vocals, because they were too raw and too kind of a drunken and all that stuff. But me, they're so barbaric, almost like inhumane, that they're like mind-blowing. So Nocturno Culto is number 1, but there are lots of really good black metal vocalists which are very near to that level. But to me, Nocturno Culto is the number 1. Last but not least, what bands are on your top 5 and try to get the interview with? Now, I already actually replied to this question on YouTube comment where this question came from, And this is kind of a tricky because there are a lot of bands which I would like to interview, which are really something that I like. And some bands are just non-existent. For example, it would be really cool to interview Lemmy from Motorhead. He is dead. Chuck Schuldiner from Death. He is dead. And so forth. But obviously, I would like to get to those which are kind of my kind of a teenage and childhood favorites. That would be Black and Lawless of Wasp. Even though he turned into Christian, kind of like a born again stuff, but I would still definitely like to interview him, partially, especially for that, how he changed from this very kind of a swearing word of God to this kind of a born again Christian, frack like a beast. You get that idea? And then later on singing about Jesus. Metallica would be, especially because it was my teenage years when I spent time with a lot of listening to Metallica. So that would be really awesome. Obviously, Slayer, for being one of the best bands, in my opinion, in the whole world. Then I guess I already mentioned Dark Throne, Fenris, and Nocturnal Culto for being the best black metal band of all time. And I think I had to say, for the last fifth one, Vari Vikernes, aka Count Krishnak, aka Christian Vikernes, that is of Burzum. For obvious reason, not only Burzum, but because of his presence as in this Tulian channel, that of his and his role-playing games, he living in the France woods and all that stuff. So Vikernes would be one of those most interesting bands. And then obviously, because Burzum is one of the best black metal bands of all time. Then there would probably be some other guys, from that metal scene, which I would really like to interview. Like, for example, I would like to kind of re-interview Trey Azagdal from Morbid Angel. I met the guy once around, let's say, 2005. I think they were playing Finland, and he was a really nice guy. And since Morbid Angel is one of the best death metal bands of all time, that would be kind of a no-brainer. And also because I already get to interview Cal Village from Bothrower, that is kind of already done, and because Death Schuldiner is not alive, Morbid Angel interview is still yet to happen, for Rauta anyway. So those 5 plus 1 would be the list. Now, the time for the gear review before this video gets way too long. This is an extra copy of Cryptomok Profane EP, which was already reviewed actually twice. First on tape in 2018, and this year on CD and LP or vinyl. So I get this extra copy because the only band member, Mika, was kind enough to give me not only CD but also a vinyl, and I decided to go with the vinyl. So basically this is my review copy, which I have only opened for review purposes. So it's basically new but without plastic wrapping, and I'm gonna give it to you, one of you guys or gals there right now, who is commenting this video and liking the channel, that is subscribing to the channel. I will pick the winner 1 week after this video comes out. So you have plenty of time to comment whatever you feel like commenting this video, and I will just randomly pick the winner and send this copy to that lucky person to get this fine EP. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Thank you for asking questions. Should you have more questions to ask, once again, I will get back to you with a wintertime AMA. I think these quarterly AMAs make more sense than monthly or once a year. So keep those questions coming. I will I will answer your whatever you ask me, and who knows what happens. But let's plan it for, I don't know, December, January, something like that. And see ya with more Rauta stuff coming your way. Take care.